different result. But it just turns out
you found you're allergic to something.
Well, this is my second allergy test, and this one just basically confirmed what the same results as the first one. I was thinking I might be allergic to dust mites because it's like, why am I getting so allergenic overnight? Hey, everybody. Welcome to the panel live.
Hey, folks.
I just got back from an allergy appointment. That's why we're chatting about this. So I am
Turns out Justin is allergic to microphones.
Allergic to computers.
So
do you guys have sagebrush where you're at? You have sagebrush? You know what sagebrush is?
I don't know what that is. We might have it, and I still might not know what it is. But
sagebrush is, here, I'll show you a picture. It turns out there's tons of it where I live. We're kind of in a high desert here. And so this sagebrush this is what it looks like. It can also look like this.
Yeah, we're not dry desert here. We're lots and lots of trees over here. So
yeah. See, maybe I should move there because I'm not allergic to any trees or grass or anything. So, you guys got some oak where you're at?
Yeah, we got it all. We got.
You got some
right now
poplar?
we're in a sea of leaves is what we're in right now. So.
Nice. I mean, isn't that why people like about your area? Is that the leaves are incredible in the fall?
I mean, they're all off the tree now, but like a month ago, it's best place in the world to see fall foliage is like my backyard.
Cool. Oh, I should show something just for the people who are live. I just saw this. I think I love good ideas of like marketing that kind of like makes its way through these days. Check out, maybe you guys have already seen this, but check out this billboard by Disney. Let's see if this uploads quick enough. This is friggin' wild. Why is this taking so long? Oh, here we go. I'm going to turn this to live. Okay, look at this.
Where is that?
So, I think it's in Vegas, but it's for the new Percy Jackson. And so it's like, as this octopus
my
thing.
kids are going to love that. They like eat up those books.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
I just noticed that. I was like, I love that kind of stuff. Oh, now we're back in my thing where I don't know how to
show that. I gotta show that to my kids. They're gonna dig that.
Yeah, I'll send it. I can never remember how to get this thing back to where we were. Layout. This happened last time too. I'll figure it out.
We're just gonna show this Percy Jackson thing for the whole episode today.
Yeah, we'll just share this whole thing. How do I stop sharing this? Preview. Oh, there we go. How's everyone doing in the chat here? Zach's here, Keith's here. Emmett says he's got to work today, but he's here for a little bit. Ryan Hefner, Nano Republica. Interesting.
What's
up, folks? You know what? We have a thing on our list, but maybe we could start with this because I think I'm trying to think about how I can be more vulnerable on these and like talk more about business stuff.
Yes, man. Let's get into it.
And
the hard questions.
This one's hard. It's always hard when you've got a real business that's going because there's just not everything you can talk about. But
actually, on that note, and we'll talk about your thing right now. But
yeah,
there is something I do want to talk about that I have been hesitant to talk about on air, and I'll say it.
All right.
So, yeah.
Is it something about me? Is this a confrontation?
It's something I've been meaning to tell. This is an intervention, Justin, and
no. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So what do you got?
Little tease. So one of the things we've been worried about, and I went back to our notes from 2022 from our team retreat, and one of the comments I have in 2022 was, I think as a company we need to be concerned about remote recording applications like Squadcast and Riverside and Zencaster that are going to add hosting. And We've had a few waves of this now. Zencaster added hosting back in 2022. And I thought for sure it's going to happen with Riverside. And this was something that's been on my mind. I think this is the hard thing about being a founder is my sense from talking to people is that most people have this kind of, they always want to be optimistic. Like, everything is going to work out. It's fine. We're doing good. Don't worry about it. But I think a founder really needs to hold two things in tandem at the same time, which is there are threats and there are opportunities. We have strengths and we have weaknesses. And when a threat comes around, you have to take it seriously. And when Riverside, I knew I'd gotten a tip back last year that Riverside was working on hosting.
And also, like, you don't have to be like, you don't even have to have insider knowledge to know that, like, it's sort of like an obvious next thing that they would do. Right?
And I mean, listen, as a product person, I started recording podcasts in 2012. We used Skype call recorder. Recorded 3 episodes with my buddy Kyle. After we'd recorded 3 episodes, we're like, how are we going to distribute this? And if Skype call recorder had said, hey, we've got a way of getting these things you've recorded onto Apple Podcasts, I'd have been like, sweet, I'm going to try that out, right? It makes sense in the funnel. The funnel is everybody in the world that thinks about recording a podcast. They go out and try to figure that out. Riverside is getting a lot of the top of that funnel. And then the next part of that funnel is, how am I going to edit it? And then the next part of that funnel is, how am I going to distribute it to? So I've been worried about it. And
on the question of being worried about it, just to poke at that a little bit.
Yep.
Are you worried about it theoretically from like what you just described? Like if I think about the typical customer, that's how they would probably think about it. Or are you actually noticing changes in the numbers, in number of trials or traffic or support questions, like any actual indicators that this is actually a thing?
A few things, a few historical indicators. So I had friends that were in the remote recording business. I knew multiple companies that had a very big piece of that pie. And I saw Riverside come in and take a lot of their lunch. Like, incredible.
You mean because of their first product, like the recording?
The recording, yeah. So in the remote recording space, I knew 2 of the biggest players, and I talked with those founders year after year, and they're just like, Riverside is kind of crushing. And they were just executing so well on the marketing front and on the product front. So I had seen them come into another category before and crush and not just like, oh, there's room for everybody, like we're all doing great. No, like take away huge amounts of market share.
And I'm sorry, I forgot his name. He hopped
Nadav.
on Nadav hopped on our show impromptu, like 2-3 weeks ago.
He's listening right now, probably.
Founder of Riverside, which was such a great conversation. And as I said on that one, I'll say it again here. I could see where you're coming from, Justin, like in feeling like Riverside is a threat because they're the type of threat that, like, man, they're just so good.
Yes.
It's like it's one thing to, like, I've got competitors in all the businesses I've ever done, and I'm, I always look at them like, yeah, some are good, some are. I feel like I have different strengths and they have different strengths and this and that, and so that I could sort of like justify, like, all right, well, like I could find our lane and we can both coexist here.
Yeah.
But then when you see someone come along that's like, yeah, they truly, we're literally using Riverside right now.
Yes.
And it's a great product,
And I tried using some of the alternatives in the past couple of weeks for remote recording.
Yeah.
It is the best. And this is the second thing that I think concerned me was I go to podcast conferences. I'm hanging out with podcasters all the time. I myself am actively recording. You and I have the show. I have another show with Jeremy. Every once in a while, I record a show with Build Your SaaS. I'm a guest on many, many podcasts. Consistently, Riverside is ubiquitous. It is one of those things that everybody uses. It's like being at a Ruby on Rails conference. In the old days, everyone was using a Mac. Now everyone's maybe using Linux on a PC. It's just like, what are people like us do things like this? What are people in this space doing consistently? And you just cannot deny that evidence. If you're in the space, you're like, everybody. What's more surprising to me is how little Riverside's competitors come up in the remote recording. So if you see someone saying, hey, recommend me something online, a Facebook thread or a Reddit thread or a Slack thread, or just at a conference, hey, like, what do you guys use in record? Oh, I use Riverside. Oh, I use Riverside. Oh, I use. So 6 people will say they use Riverside. Very few people are recommending anything else. And so it just.
So, okay. But like, I think all that's true and valid, but I think the classic, like I'll maybe playing devil's advocate, but also just thinking more optimistically here. Yeah. Historically, hopefully still true today, the mindset of the bootstrapped SaaS or bootstrapped anything is, of course, there are both well-funded competitors or just highly skilled competitors or just executing really well. Those are always going to exist. That's just a reality. But the playbook of the bootstrapper is like, we don't have to own the market. We don't even have to dominate the market, but we can have a great business carving out our lane in a popular market. Why would that still not be the case for Transistor?
Well, I mean, because there's evidence that that narrative is, there's maybe some generalized truth to that narrative, but specifically, I mean, there was I don't want to name names but there was an early entrant in this category in remote recording that was started by a bootstrapper. He did very, very well for years and years and years. He was one of the indicators for me that podcasting was worth getting into, because he was sharing his revenue numbers with me, and he was doing so well. He owned the market. It was basically him and Skype call recorder. And he had like 80%.
I'm trying to guess who we were talking about. Okay. I think I have an idea.
And so,
I hear you, but like, that's still just the recording piece, and Transistor has never been recording. So like, I guess on continuing on my line of thought here is like, you've always been hosting. Yeah. Why can't that still work? Because like, if you think about it on the inverse, right? Like you're not considering getting into the recording side of the stack.
I mean,
right?
We're considering everything all the time. I think that's part of I think this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about, what I'm expressing right now is the stage where you are holding two things that feel opposite at the same time and just sitting with it in a way that is, you don't even have to act on it right away, but it's just an acknowledgement that this is a legitimate threat, but at the same time, we have legitimate strengths and opportunities on our side as well. Could this crush us? Absolutely. Is there anything we can do about it? Maybe. Is it going to be an existential threat every single day from this day forth? Maybe it could be. So we got to watch it. We got to, the first thing we did is we started tracking how many people were redirecting, how many existing customers were redirecting away from Transistor.
Oh, you could see that
to Riverside.
Info. I mean, that's interesting. I forgot about that technical piece of it. Like I have people churn and because they're switching to some other alternative, and I always ask them like, what's your alternative? What are you going to do instead? And sometimes they tell me, sometimes they don't. But I don't know for sure. But you could actually see where they're going to redirect their feed to.
Yes,
that is really interesting.
Yeah, we have pieces of data coming in with new trials, and we have pieces of data with people coming out with cancellations. So I'm emailing people when they cancel. I'm also emailing people when they sign up. And then we can also see where do they redirect to, and we can also see how many people redirect back to us.
Oh, well, back to you, meaning like they are switching from another host, or like they were. That's awesome.
So a big one that happened, one of the early existential threats we had was Anchor came out and it was free podcast hosting. And so we watched it and we saw a spike of people redirecting to Anchor. And I remember calling up Nathan Barry and he said, listen, it's true. Anchor could destroy you, but here's how it's played out in the email market. Substack came along with a free product. Redirects spiked, like people switching to Substack spiked. But then what happened was it ended up just being a bigger funnel for us. So people would start on the free thing, and then when they wanted to upgrade to something more pro, they would go to us. That could happen with you guys. And we've seen that. We can see people redirecting their Anchor feeds to us. When I ask them, hey, what brought you here? They say, well, we were just looking for the...
and that's like a good example of the big spike that from a competitor or a threat that's like maybe really good on the marketing front or freemium, so they're really attractive from a pricing, but the product side wasn't there, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes. I think it's just.
But this one, I could see how this is more of like they're a threat because they've been around for years. They're executing on both product and marketing. It's not like just a spike. It's sort of just a gradual growth and domination.
Yeah.
But also, but my other pushback would be like, okay, yeah, like we acknowledge they're going to be an elephant and continue to be for the foreseeable future. When you say this could crush us, what does that actually mean? How would crushing you actually play out? Because in my mind, that would not happen overnight. Because I could see how it could crush like new customer acquisition, and that could be bad. But it would also require like your existing customers to churn in droves, which is harder to see happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, when they announced it, the day they announced it, we saw a spike of people canceling and redirecting. The nice thing is that since we've been tracking it, that spike went up and then it went down. So that at least and really like, I don't want to give exact numbers, but we have like 36,000 podcasts. We're talking low double digits of podcasts that switched.
Okay.
So it's nice to have things in context. Do you have
ideas for what
the one thing that we got to watch still is it could eat up our new signups. And in our market, in the creator market, I think this is true for Kit. I think this is true for any sort of kind of creator prosumer tool. You're highly dependent on new signups. So our LTV is actually pretty good. It's probably, I don't know, $900, $1,000 LTV. So people are sticking around a long time, generally on average. But in order to outrun churn, you need 10 to 20 signups a day. And then we convert 70 to 75% of those trials to paid.
And I do agree with you from even if like the quote unquote crushing your business happens gradually over several years, like that's still not good for your business. So I also agree that like it's not ideal to it's not enough to just exist as an option. Like there has to be a reason why people should choose Transistor.
That's right. Yeah.
Like from a product standpoint.
That's right.
Like there has to be some unique benefit or some lane that's like if like you said like people like us do things like this, like
people like us do things like this. Yeah.
Yeah, like
people like us go to Starbucks. People like us
what's the story there? It's like why would somebody not use Riverside and choose Transistor instead? And like maybe that story still is yet to be told in the next 12, 24 months,
Yeah, I mean, and it's multi-layered as well. The thing is, for me personally, even in the chat here, and this could be a personality thing, but I see people kind of like trying to reassure me or, like pushing back on these feelings. And what I'm trying to say is I'm completely fine with these feelings. I'm fine with these feelings coexisting at the same time.
This is the job. Like,
this is the job.
You're supposed to be dealing with these feelings. Yeah.
And personally, I might even be more adept at holding these things in tension and not being overly bothered by it. Because I know, like, the forces that exert themselves on a market, some of them are outside of my control. And I also recognize every day that there are forces outside my market that could crush us. Right now, the steel industry in Canada is being crushed by tariffs. Those companies are going out of business. Those forces are outside of those companies' control. They're laying off thousands of people. It sucks. That's possible for all of us. Like, any of our governments
of my people, I apologize. That wasn't my idea.
Any of our governments can wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, new tax, 300% tax on all SaaS revenue, or 300% sales tax on all SaaS purchases. There's all sorts of things outside of our control, and that could crush us. Just because you started a business and it works doesn't mean you get a license to print money for the rest of your life. That it just doesn't work. Yep. Adam Wathan has this great new podcast right now, Adam's Walk. Have you been listening to that?
Love it. Yeah, it's great.
Such a good show. Everyone should go listen to it. I'll link to it in the show notes. But his business is getting crushed by AI, in the sense that all of his market, all of the money was kind of flowing through SEO, people going to the docs, and then him being able to sell. There's things outside of his control that have happened. Yep. And so this is the job, which is recognizing these things. Yep, that's a threat. Not going overboard. Like, I'm not going to run around like a chicken with my head cut off, but going, this is a legitimate threat. And let's start to think about our responses. So
and the other phrase that comes to mind is like, what got us here won't get us there.
Yes.
And
exactly.
like what you're describing here is, and what you're going through with this, you're not actually going through it, you're identifying it as a potential threat in the future, right? Like your business is still doing fine today. But you're totally right to be taking this seriously and thinking a lot about it, right?
Yes.
And so what I want to say on that is that, like, this is, to me, is way harder than starting a new business. Like changing your path when you already have an established successful business is extremely difficult.
Yes.
Because like, it's not only the fact that, like, you guys are a public, you already have an audience and a customer base. So anything you do, you have to tread carefully, like, not to disrupt what you already have. But then also just mentally for you and your team to think through, like, how can we even think, like, reframe our mind of, like, what our own business and our own product actually is if we've been living this reality for years. Like, it's so much harder than just starting something from nothing,
Yes. Yeah. And being able to, like, because I talked to my team about it, and I said, and they had the first thing, it's like, what do we do about this? And my first answer to that question is, I just want us to sit with this for a little bit. I just want us to feel it. And I'm not asking them to feel it as much as I'm feeling it, but let's just sit and let this simmer for a while.
Yep.
What's the second thing we're going to do? Well, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to keep doing the things that did get us here that work. We're going to keep offering great customer service. We're going to keep offering unlimited podcasts for one price. We're going to continue to have the simplest, most reliable, easiest to navigate product. And we're going to keep releasing features, on a nice cadence. We're not going to mess with any of that. Okay, what's the next thing we're going to do? Well, the next thing we're going to do is try to come up with a few hedges, a few insurance policies. So, what are some other adjacent things we could do that might give us a little hedge? I mean, one little hedge that we have is we added this AI transcription add-on, and that brings in thousands of dollars of new MRR every month that we wouldn't have normally had. So
Nice.
now all of a sudden we got this nice little, it was just like this, nice little bump, gives us even more cushion, gives us even more breathing room. Perfect. That worked well.
I would be thinking about, and there's honestly very few, but there definitely are probably some examples of companies that established themselves and like did well in one version and then pivoted after they were large and became something new. And I mean, I don't have any really good examples off the top of my head, but one that I just started using myself this week is Vimeo. When they started many years ago, right? Like what, 15, 20 years ago? They were the alternative to YouTube. They were trying to be YouTube.
Kind of an artsy YouTube, like
a little bit artsy, but like
if you had like your own like little indie film studio, you would put
they
stuff
had a
on
little
there.
bit more of that vibe, but technically they were the same product as you. It was like it was essentially another video social network, just like YouTube. But at some point they figured out in the last couple of years that they're not YouTube. They're not going to be YouTube, right? And so this week, I needed a video solution to have my semi-private videos hosted on, like the ones that I share with Builder Methods Pro members. So like the ones that I don't publish to YouTube, I need a place to put videos that I'm sharing with just my private membership.
Yeah.
And I sort of bounced around using Loom and using Tela. And Loom, man, since they've been acquired,
did they get bought by that
Atlassian.
awful PE? Oh, okay.
Dude, like their product
downhill.
They completely crashed and lost a bunch of my video a couple weeks ago, and then Tela I thought was pretty promising, but then they too had trouble like processing my 4K videos. So just last week, I started putting my private videos on Vimeo, and it just works beautifully. And then I was in there, I was like, oh, they've got all this stuff that's like really catering to my actual use case, which is like sort of sharing like private videos in an area,
Yeah.
And I don't know, they've got all sorts of tools in there that I haven't even dug into because I didn't even know that they existed inside Vimeo. But like clearly, they're a very different product than they were back in the day. Like there's got to be other examples of that. I wonder if any other ones come to mind of like they were one thing when they started and now they're something totally different. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Adam is trying to make that transition right now, and I think the thing you want to do is you want to take. It's more of an iteration or you're jumping off whatever place you're at already. It's not, you're not trying to reinvent everything from scratch. That I think is difficult, like to reinvent something completely new. But he's saying like, let's take, the existing business and let's use our audience, let's use our skills, let's use all these assets we have and try to move it a different way. And I think that's what we would be doing as well.
Yeah, it's I don't want to speak about like other people's businesses, but I think that is what you're talking about is probably a pretty common thread with other podcast related businesses, But I do think that you all in the podcasting space have, like in my mind as somebody like an outsider looking in, like it's always easier to armchair quarterback somebody else's business in a completely different industry.
Yeah.
But but I do think that you do, to me, the obvious sidestep is that you are already plugged into the creator economy, and the creator economy is not just podcasting. It's obviously more YouTube and just video in general. But then you think about all the people who are building businesses off of their podcast. Like not people who are just selling sponsorships, but like just people who like they are in the audience business. Like so creators, you know. Other products / services / SaaS. That like it doesn't even have to be even remotely tied to technically podcasting, but like podcasters also have communities, or podcasters also sell services, or podcasters also whatever.
I mean, the easiest one for us right now is podcasters also have a website, and we already offer websites. And there's no reason we couldn't make websites a paid service as well. So that's an opportunity. AI transcription is still a huge opportunity. Like way more folks.
That one I don't know if I totally
It is
buy.
because we have an existing customer base that could be using it.
Yeah, but Riverside does it. That's the problem.
They do it, but we're the ones that do diarization better. If you get to the point where you're uploading it to us, maybe not from Riverside, but if you're uploading it to us and you want to transcribe your show, there's still thousands of potential customers for that haven't upgraded yet.
If I'm you, I would be thinking more outside the box. Like transcripts just feels like, it's another feature that's obviously tied to podcasting. Like of course you already offer it. Like it makes sense. But like I would be thinking about like what does the Transistor video platform look?
Yes. Yeah. Like, we're considering all that stuff. Now, here's another interesting thing that I think, again, it's helpful to keep things in mind. I'm only going to show this for a second because I share too much stuff on here, but this is our trial signups. And trials are killing it right now. So
what's the time frame on this? Oh,
December 31st, 2022 to we just had November, right?
So for those listening and not watching, mostly flat-ish with some spikes between 2022 and 2024, and then 2025 it's clearly going up.
Yes. Yeah, if this is the baseline here, this one line, almost every month in 2025 so far has been above this line that we've never hit before. So trials are up this year quite a bit, and that is encouraging. That it's something I'm going to keep watching. Like it could, because those indicators, they're lagging, so you don't see things sometimes for a while. But
trials are up. So what else is up? Is traffic up?
Traffic is still doing great, and especially referrals from things that we had invested in for a long time. Reddit, SEO, content, videos, customer support. It's all feeding in. A lot of that stuff's feeding into LLMs. We're getting really nice referrals from LLMs, great referrals from word of mouth, great referrals. Like it's a lot of these engines that we've been working on for a while are working well. And I think the reason you see trials increasing this year is there was this, we had, what's the, I don't know what the metaphor is, but it's like, I don't know. It's like we've been pumping up a balloon underwater, and just now naturally, because of, I think, AI and LLMs, we're getting lift. We're just getting all sorts of lift this year that is benefiting us in terms of trials.
Yeah, and also like the obvious other question there is like, how are those trials converting?
So 70 to 75% of trials will convert to paid.
Nice. That's fantastic, right?
Our funnel is great. I love our funnel. This is another reason I think I made a video about this, but if you can, having credit card up front when you're starting a new business, it just simplifies your funnel so much. Mm-hmm. So people have to, it adds a lot of friction. Like you can imagine, we could have way more signups if we didn't require credit card up front. You know, I understand it even as a customer, like, God, I got to take my credit card out. But I've always liked that, and I haven't changed it since we started the business, because it shows that customer motivation. Jordan just talked about this on his podcast on Offsite. It shows that the customer is so motivated, they will jump over that hurdle. And you want that. That's what you want.
A year ago, I even stopped doing trials. They pay up front for Clarity Flow.
It's there's
same with builder methods.
There's something nice about it. Now, I'm not saying it's the panacea or the right answer for everything, but it really simplifies your funnel. You sign up with a credit card, 14-day free trial. People either cancel or they go through or they convert to paid. And it helps you diagnose all sorts of problems. It's easier and cleaner. I recommend it at the beginning, at least for your first 2 years, I think, because you will learn so much having a simple funnel. It's just way easier to
100%
understand things, how they work.
Yeah. And it also just like it just removes the second buying decision.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
Like they don't have to like decide to sign up and then 2 weeks later decide to take out their credit card. You know.
Yeah, you're upfronting all of that,
but
all of that pain.
I mean, like maybe one more hypothesis on why the general numbers just kind of float upward in 2025 would be. I have no data on this, but I would think that, like, yes, you're probably right about like all the years of content and being everywhere and being on Reddit and SEO and now that's filtered into ChatGPT. That of course makes sense. And I think a lot of the best practices of SEO and content marketing also translate really nicely into ChatGPT and Claude optimization, right? I see the same thing with my businesses, but but I also think that the general, and this could actually end up being your hedge against the Riversides, is that we could be entering, I think we are entering another new, maybe a second wave of podcasting and media and video. But that would also sweep up podcasting. Like more and more people, more regular people, more normies are starting podcasts than they did 5-6 years ago.
Yes.
And like every single celebrity ever now has a podcast, which they didn't used to have. That didn't used to be the case. You know? And so obviously, like the more celebrities do it, then the more normies do it, and now you see more trials, right? Like, I can see that being the case. And also, just like if you think about AI with like the blogging is not as, or people who do care about audience, they used to be able to grow an audience just with written content, but like now with AI and all the noise and social media, like the way to break through and have audience loyalty is to be speaking into a microphone or talking to the camera, you know?
Yes. Yeah. And this is like, I mean, this is also that Cheeky Pint podcast is so good. I'm listening to the one, who am I? Oh, it's funny because I actually don't like Mark Andreessen, but the episode with Mark Andreessen is very good. And one of the things they talk about is just that the reason SaaS in general is still doing well is there's still just so much more people coming online, so many more businesses coming online. The market for SaaS is still actually bigger than ever and just getting bigger. And so there's, there's more businesses being started, more people graduating from college. Like it just increases, and that increases the whole market. So, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's a little picture of
that's your existential crisis.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, honestly, this is less existential for me than the worry that consumers will end up not listening to audio podcasts, that consumers will switch to YouTube as their primary entertainment client for everything, whether it's watching, listening, or whatever. I think that's still an existential threat. But
that one doesn't seem as immediate to me.
No, this one is, so far, this one here's okay. What do you got on your end? What were we going to chat about?
Well, Yeah, I mean, I'll just.
Oh, you got lots.
I'll
You
try
got
to get
lot-
my. Well, I'll just get my business update in here because I feel
Okay.
like it's Builder Methods is working really, really well.
Nice.
I just I kind of can't believe it. I'm like I'm in the fourth straight month of sort of just crushing whatever revenue goals I had for it.
Oh, dude.
And it's one of those things where it's like the first 2 months of that I was like, oh great, awesome, yeah, got another
Yeah.
sale, sweet. And then it's like the third month, now fourth month, it's like, wait, what's happening? Why do they keep buying this thing?
It's working. Like you're seeing it work.
Yeah, and like I like I'm obsessively checking like Stripe and notifications and stuff. Like it's just but like so
That's awesome, dude.
that has triggered a bunch of that's like, okay, so now it's like on to the next step, the next phase of this.
Yeah.
But I have to step back and acknowledge that now that I'm in the fourth month of this, I'm starting to gain a little bit of comfort and security that like this funnel is working better than anything I've ever had before. There's clearly that wave of demand was not a fluke for the first month or two. It's repeating and it's growing. The YouTube channel keeps working, the newsletter, the sales daily, hourly, like it's but so now I'm starting to gain the security and the confidence and the comfort that like this is the thing that I'm building. I have a lot more work to do on like the delivery of value. I feel, but
Yeah.
But clearly to me, like this is my business now for the foreseeable future, and that's what I've been after for, and like so. In
What
the last,
a good feeling.
It's such a good feeling, dude. Like I'm finally starting to like accept that, like, okay, this thing is good. Like,
Yeah.
And what that also means logistically is I have stopped consulting. Like it's done.
Wow.
I had my
How's that
last
feel?
fucking great, dude. But like,
because that's been like every week, it's like you're running Clarity Flow, you're doing work for clients, and then you're working on the new stuff.
Yeah.
And
to be more clear about it, like, yes, I was taking, for a while there, I was taking consulting projects and I would still delegate most of the work. So it still wasn't super time consuming from an hour standpoint, but it's still dealing with clients. It's still managing my developers' work and delivering it and all that kind of stuff.
It's on your brain. It's
on
like,
my brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when a client emails in with questions about their project that they paid a lot of money for, like I have to prioritize that, you know? And so that's done. Like that's been done for over a month. And also, so then I randomly get like new, I used to have a website called instrumentalproducts.com, which was like sort of like my consulting page where people would put in a you know, that's where the leads would come from. And then randomly they would still come in and like book a sales call to hire me as a dev consultant. Somebody randomly did that the other day, and it's not going to turn into a real project. And then after that, I was like, all right, I got to shut this off and just redirect it to my personal site. And that's what I did.
So no more.
So that's out.
Like coaching and training now goes to Builder Methods.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah. Nice, man.
So that's that piece, which was has been a huge goal of mine for the last 2-3 years, because I only brought consulting back into my mix just to kind of hold me over until I figure out what my next business is. And I think I've figured that out now.
There's something that's so refreshing. Like when you're in those phases of the entrepreneurial journey, there's these cycles. And I remember right before Transistor, I was in a cycle of like, I had a bunch of things going. You know, I was doing some consulting, product and marketing consulting with all sorts of teams. I had the Mega Maker community. I had some courses and programs, Tiny Marketing Wins and marketing for developers and some other things. And I was building some SaaS projects as well. And so I just remember, like, you're just like, okay, I'm going to try this, going to try this, going to try this. This is going to keep the lights on. And there's something, once we were, I can't remember how many months into Transistor. Maybe it was 6, 8, I can't remember. But at some point, 8 months in, I was like, this is working. I'm going to start getting rid of this stuff. I'm going to start letting stuff go. Fuck, it felt good. It just felt so good to like feel like you had all these things in the air and you're just working and you're exploring and you're trying to find something. And then it's like, you know what? I can drop this.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to drop this.
I could drop that. And it's like, it's also not just, it's not just about dropping the hours or the commitment to that thing. It's the feeling of like, I've got something that's already so much better. So I feel secure in letting that go. I think in my case, the last 2-3 years was a little bit more painful. And obviously for folks who've been listening to my stuff for a long time, they know this story, but like I had already phased out consulting once before, like years ago when I had audience ops.
Yeah.
Right. Like I started out as like a freelance, web designer, and then did sort of that mini agency thing for a while. Then I built and sold Restaurant Engine, and then built audience ops, and then completely just phased out all the consulting. And then I was just doing audience ops for a while, right? And then audience ops was automated, and then I can just hack on learning how to code and stuff. So like I had already gained that freedom back in 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
And then sold audience ops, and then tried to started Zip Message and Clarity Flow and all that. And then, 5 years later into Clarity Flow, it sort of chugged along, but I back to a point where I did have to, like, it was painful for me to like have to resort back to consulting when it was like something that I felt like I had already exited. And so now finally, with Builder Methods, I'm feeling pretty good about the fact that like I think I can get back out of it now.
Yeah.
But then the next thing, and this is the thing I was on the fence. I've been on the fence about sharing publicly about Clarity Flow. I don't have any real news. I'm not going to get into any details, but like that's the other thing now that I'm starting to actively try to figure out what the plan is for me there. And that can be a number of different things. I have nothing to report here, but like I will say publicly, like I'm open to just selling it and exiting. To the right person or right company, and for the right outcome for everyone involved. But but a very real alternative to that is to just continue to hold it and maintain it long term. And there are good realities to both of those things, but like right now compared to 6, 8, 10 months ago, like I was still in the mindset of like, a year ago, 10 months ago, I was still in the mindset of like, I am moving on. I'm looking for something new to get into, but I didn't have that thing yet.
Yeah.
So Clarity Flow has been a significant chunk of my income. For these years, like coupled with the consulting, but Clarity Flow was the only like steady recurring thing that I had. Now fast forward to now, I do have that replaced with Builder Methods, and I'm feeling more secure that that's going to continue to grow. So I'm feeling more comfortable with the idea of letting that one go as well. So that's like the open question. It'll be interesting. I'm not gonna like report publicly on the evolution of that. I did want to just sort of say like, I think people should also know like Clarity Flow in terms of revenue and some other metrics, by most independent bootstrapper metrics, it is an incredible success. Like it's like it hit some milestones that
are
It's interesting.
substantial.
It's interesting, and I'm not going to talk real numbers here, but it is interesting. It behind the scenes, it is I think it's a fascinating case study in SaaS as a
Yeah.
business, because it has hit some milestones that most bootstrapped, early founders kind of dream of.
Yeah.
But there are also some harder realities that a lot of bootstrappers are not aware of,
Yes.
especially if you have a family and have requirements and the costs involved, and also like the volatility of SaaS in general, and that whole game.
Yeah, but for the right person, like Clarity Flow would be an incredible business to buy. Like for the right person, it's like
especially if there's like a strategic fit. It's like it I think it actually can be a multiplier, and that's also like, take my interest and whatever you want to think about the financials out of it. Like another thing that is important to me is like the future of it for the customer base. I have one person working on it, and she would probably go with it, but it's like one of the things that I honestly just don't feel so great about is holding something and not giving it the resources and attention and energy that I think it's a great product. I still use it myself every day. Like it deserves more. It deserves more resources and push behind it than I'm able to actually give it. And that's a feeling that I've had in the past. Like same thing with audience ops. It got to a point where I was like, there's a lot of potential here, but I just can't give it what it needs anymore, and that's sort of where I'm at with it.
I just did some I think, because I use Clarity Flow a lot, I think I've uploaded over 400 videos to Clarity Flow. I've got a lot of videos in here.
It's also like one of those weird things to even think about, like letting it go, because I do use it so much. Like it's the way I communicate with so many different people.
You know what the thing I still love about it is, because I use it for basically uploading private videos that I don't want other people to see. For a while, I was doing this with unlisted videos on YouTube, but it just felt like not secure enough. The one thing I love about, because I use it for demo videos all the time, is I'll send it to the demo video, and then I get notified when they watch it.
Yeah.
That alone, I'm just like, oh, it's so good. It's like,
that was a very early feature that we had from the Zip Message days, and I think that was a little product. I didn't intend it to be this. I just felt like they should be notified.
Yeah.
But that has the effect of adding stickiness, because when you're a new customer and you get that first notification that like, oh, my client just watched it, like that keeps you, that's the difference between signing up for a new trial on day one and then forgetting about it on day 3. And then by day 3, you get a little notification. It's like, oh yeah, all right, I'm using this thing now.
Well, here's the other joke, is that I'll use it to give like product feedback to people at Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all these things. And often you send an email and you're like, I don't know if anyone even watched that, but I'll send an email and to multiple people, and I'll just watch those notifications go, oh, someone just watched it. Oh, there's a big influx of watches. Like somebody just shared it in Slack or something. Yeah, it's an awesome feature.
The thing that I love about it as a product is the super long running async conversations that I have with people. So, I mean, sometimes it's just a friend or an advisor, and we would literally there are some people that I've had like years long single conversation with in Clarity Flow. And you can just go through the sidebar in a conversation and sort of pull back these old threads, and it just scrolls right back to it. And same thing with like client engagement, like all that consulting client stuff. I had zero calls, maybe one sales call up front at the beginning, but then I would work with a client for multiple months, and we would just go back and forth in Clarity Flow the whole time. That's it.
It's awesome. I'm also going to use it. We'll see if this works, but I have to, because Transistor's in the US and I'm in Canada, I have to pay a pretty expensive accounting firm to do all my taxes. And so typical, like this is one of those big firms like KPMG and PwC, they're all over the place. But every engagement I have with them, a Zoom call means that 4 people from their office join, and it costs thousands of dollars. And so this year I was like, they're like, hey, it's time for this year's engagement. I'm like, you know what? This year I'm going to send you guys a video and I'm going to just walk through this year's stuff. If you have questions, you can reply to the video, you can reply to the email, but instead of us stacking all these people on a Zoom call that's just costing me money, let's just try this approach. So I'll report back. It might save me thousands of dollars this year.
I wish more people like in the world would just embrace like asynchronous.
For certain
meetings,
things, it's so much better.
I've had like really like serious, deep conversations in an asynchronous format, and I often think that I really honestly think that it's like better than a live call.
Oh, interesting.
In many ways, like it's because when you're on a Zoom call, you're on the spot. Somebody asks you a question, I have to respond to you with the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a serious conversation with someone, like if you give me a question, like I want to be able to gather my thoughts and prepare, maybe even like record and then re-record. Especially if it's like high stakes. Like I've had like negotiations and stuff where it's like I got to be really careful with my response here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I always thought a podcast like Dear John. Is it Dear John? The Hank and you guys know who I'm talking about on YouTube? What do they say? Dear John, Hank Williams. No. Hank YouTube. Sorry guys, just let me just. Who are those guys? The Vlog Brothers. Vlog Brothers. That's what I'm talking about.
Justin's live.
That's basically they have a show that's based on that, where one brother's like, hey buddy, here's what's going on, and then the other brother makes a video to respond. I thought that would be cool for like, you could use Clarity Flow for that too. Like you could have one person talk and then another person. It would be a much different show, but there would be something about that would be interesting.
But the other thing that so this isn't actually live. I don't even have a page up for it yet. I hope that I will. Well, next week I'm going away on vacation, going to Costa Rica. So
yeah, dude, that's awesome.
So, yeah, I'm pretty psyched about that. Just no kids. Me and Amy just going down there for a week.
Gosh.
But I will have a 5-hour flight to get down there, so I'm sure I'll work on something. I might get this. So this thing called Design OS is
oh yeah,
something
we got to
new
talk
that
about this.
I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to require a little bit of explaining and showing before people really get it, because it is a new. It's not super new, but it's the thing that ever since I've been working on how do we build with AI. The question in my mind is how do we deal with the front end design part of the development process?
Yes.
And like I really do think that we have to fundamentally rethink our process now that we're in an AI first era. We are not recreating the traditional process anymore, and we can't and we shouldn't, because it just doesn't work in this new paradigm. That's my belief, and what I mean by that is like the old way was if we need to design a website or design an app, like I'm more focused on designing apps and UI. So the old way would have been, okay, concept for an app. Now let's wireframe it in something like Balsamic or Figma. Let's design it in high fidelity in a Figma. Like let's basically draw a picture of a high fidelity user interface. Then let's hand it off to a front end developer to convert our Figma to HTML and Tailwind, and then we'll hand that off to back end developers to wire it up and make it work. That was the traditional way.
Yes.
Then even before AI comes into the picture, that started to get blended, because we started to get Tailwind and then JavaScript stuff and React components, and now it's like, oh well, front end is now sort of componentized. So now, but then for components to make sense, you sort of need to wire up the back end on how these things work. So then all of a sudden, like everyone is becoming a full stack designer developer.
Yes.
Right? So that all happened even before AI. But now that we have AI, the my first and it's interesting how even as I was developing Design OS, my first approach was a little bit wrong because
Okay.
my first approach was, okay, if I'm going to have Claude or Gemini or GPT-5 generate a high quality front end design, which they are all capable of doing now,
Mm-hmm.
how do I how do I basically hire AI to be the designer instead of me, drawing rectangles in Figma?
Yeah.
Um, and I thought that the way to do it would be to have AI like generate a mock-up and then take a screenshot of it,
Okay.
and that would be like my mock-up, and then I bring that into my code base and have like my actual coding agent rebuild that mock-up.
Yeah.
But that's wrong.
Okay.
That because that's ridiculous because the initial mock-up was coded already. Why are we recoding it
Yeah.
off of
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
screenshot? You know?
That's right. Yeah.
And also we lose fidelity. Like what happened in my early cycles of this was like I would have Claude develop a perfect mock-up, and again, like I have a design process there that involves like, okay, I'm gonna shape it up with a spec, and then I'm gonna have JSON sample data, and so now we're getting really accurate, and now off of that I'm gonna have the AI generate a perfect user interface that matches my sample data, matches the data model that I just shaped up with the AI. So that's the new AI design process, right?
Yeah.
So if I have that and it just created these React components off of that, and it's a perfectly usable, mobile friendly, looks great front end component asset, it doesn't make sense to just screenshot that because I'm not in my real app yet, right? So it wouldn't make sense to just screenshot that and then go to my actual Claude Code app and say like recreate that in my Rails application.
Yes. Because it's already.
What
Yeah. It's already
what I
been done.
actually need is a way to like export that coded design component and drop it into my actual code base, and now the only task left is to wire up the backend on this already existing front end, right?
Yes.
And so Design OS, that's what it became. And all this came together in like 1 week of me hacking on this. But like,
I can't believe like when because you dropped this video, you shared this video, and I was just like, holy shit! Like Brian, in a week, Brian can come up with a whole new concept and a whole new site and a whole new thing. Like it's
just
crazy.
scratching my own itch, honestly. Like it's really just like, look, like how do I want to design a product? And so Design OS, what it is a like it'll be free open source, right? You'll clone the repo, and what that repo is it's a React and Vite app. So it's just a front end app.
Yeah, let
It's
me see if I
not
can find that video here.
and that's not public what I shared to you.
Oh, can I show this screenshot at least?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
But another episode 2 weeks from now, I'll have the actual Design OS site up. It'll be at buildermethods.com/designos.
Okay, I'm just going to show people just a freeze frame from this video. Hopefully,
I did share screenshots on Twitter. Here, let me give you this because I did a walkthrough on Twitter and Blue Sky.
Okay, maybe I'll find that. Hold on. I'm so like I did a quick watch of the video.
Okay, here it is. Here's the thing to share.
Okay.
I'll just give it to you in Telegram.
Okay, here we go. There we go. Yeah. This looks good.
So what it turned into was like Design OS is like this interface that you would clone this React app, and there's a process where you start with like, okay, the product concept, you design the data model at a high level, then you create like the application shell. So you actually design like the color scheme and the application shell, like the navigation and stuff. And then you move into each section of your application. Like in this example, like I'm creating like a client invoicing application. So, you would then like have the AI build out the actual dashboard for an invoicing app. And again, like there's like a step-by-step process to generate sample data, have it build that. You can even iterate. It all happens in Claude Code or whatever tool you're using. You can just you run the commands no matter which tool. So then you sort of just go back and forth, get it perfect. And then on the final thing is the export, which is you download a zip file with all of your coded components.
Okay.
Along with screenshots just for reference, but you have the actual coded React components, Tailwind, all perfectly designed. Along with it, it also exports pre-written prompts.
Okay.
So you can then go into your application, which might be Laravel, might be Rails, might be Python, might be whatever, Next.js. The only requirement in your final application is that you have to have React and you have to be using Tailwind.
Okay.
So like in my case, I'm probably going to be using like Rails plus Inertia plus React. You know,
Yeah.
For Laravel, like so you would go into your application and say like, here is a package of front end coded designs, and here is a pre-written prompt with everything that I'm giving you, an overview of the product, the data model, instructions on how to, and the like, you know, it's designed with like, it's actually developed with types and to make the data model underlying it be very portable. So you
Yeah.
can just plug it right into your app and then have the AI sort of wire up the back end, and now you have a functional app. And so this to me is the new process. This is the way that you can literally go from idea to polished, perfect designs in a couple of days, and then from there into your actual application and wire up the backend again in just a couple of days. And this is how like actually professional designs and professional apps can be built in about a week. I
just want to interject here. I've been thinking about this a lot and this is like so perfectly in your wheelhouse, which is one thing I've been thinking about is just how the one thing that hasn't been innovated on a lot is the UI interface way of organizing the way we interact with LLMs. Yes. Right now, it's really this blunt text blob that we can like...
I heard you talking about this. Yeah.
Put stuff into. And what's difficult is, and anyone who's done a bunch of, you know, Chat GPT stuff or vibe coded something, you realize that the order of things that you do things in actually does matter in terms of the outcome you get. And so if you start with the wrong initial prompt and then you follow up with another prompt, we've all been in those threads where it's like you're just spinning your wheels and the LLM is spinning its wheels and you're not making progress. And then you jump over to a new thread and you're like, okay, I'm going to structure it this way. And then bang, everything starts falling in place.
You're exactly right about the process and taking a very step-by-step approach. And that is like the core of not only Design OS, but like what I'm teaching at Builder Methods. When I create the core curriculum, it's this idea of like, everything we do, there's an input and then there's an output. And you can't move from one step to the next until you have the output from the previous one. So like, for example, in Design OS, the way, like it starts with product, right? Overview, right? From there, and that's just like a couple sentences about what you're building. What are the core problems and the solutions that you're solving with your new product? And what are the key features for this product? That's all that is, right?
Yeah.
So then like the output of that is like that written up. And then it's like, okay, so if that's...
So just so I understand, this is the output. Like in this case, Design OS is saying, okay, hey, give me a product overview. And so then you're writing out the product overview and says, okay, that's good. What are the problems and solutions you're trying to tackle? And then you write that out as well.
Yeah, or you could even just say like, it'll just say like the first command is called like product vision. And it just says like, give me your product vision, whatever it is. Could be short, could be long, anything. Maybe you've been writing this for days. Maybe you just have 2 sentences. Either way, just give it to the LLM, and then it will spit back what you're looking at there, which is like 2-sentence overview, like an elevator pitch, followed by problems and solutions, which is like 3 bullet points, problem and how it solves it. And then a couple bullet points of like key features, like a product like this at a high level probably does this, this, and this. That's it. Okay,
This
It's
feels like I think the reason this is resonating with me, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of other people, is it's in the same way that Ruby on Rails was like, here's Ruby on the Rails. Let's give you a track to go on.
yeah.
I feel like LLMs are the input is just like, give us anything and we'll give you a response.
Yeah.
And I think people are feeling this struggle of like, what if I'm organizing this wrong? What if I'm prompting this in the wrong way? What if there's a better way to structure this so I get the outputs I want? How do I organize this step by step so I'm not giving it too much all in one step, but that I can like sequentially get to the answer?
So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
And as soon as I saw this, like it goes from product to data model to design to sections to export, I was just like, I think this is what so many people are looking for. They want to build with AI, but it's like, what's AI on the Rails?
It's literally a process. Like you have that product overview. Okay, like from there, like if we're gonna plan this out, we sort of need to break it out into sections, right? Like, and what I mean by sections is like, that could be a roadmap, but that could also be your main navigation.
Yes.
Like if you were designing a product from scratch, from nothing, you would have to figure out like, all right, the 3 or 4 main sections of this app, we're going to need to have a screen for this, a screen or a user flow for that, a screen or user flow for that. And like, so now that we have the product overview, the problems and solutions, like then the AI, like the next command is like product roadmap. And then like the AI can suggest like, okay, I'm probably thinking you're going to need a dashboard and clients. And then, but it'll suggest that, but you could just say like, actually, we're also going to need this one. Like you can, it's a conversation, but it's, so you do that. And then from there you go into like data model, right? And so this is where I think that who is the target customer for this? I think it's first and foremost, I think about myself, like somebody who is technical and wants to put my imprint on the architecture and the data model and the interface, but I don't want to do the legwork of drawing rectangles in Figma. But at the same time, I think a non-technical person who wants something like a level up from just purely vibe coding. So you're a product person. Maybe you're not like you wouldn't consider yourself a coder, but you do have a really strong product sense, and you do have a good sense for like how your product should work and the underlying system. So maybe you don't know much about databases, but you still, I think in order to get to a good design, you still need to have a data model, right? So so once you've already established product overview, a series of sections, now the AI can suggest like, okay, we're looking at an invoicing app. You're going to need a concept for clients, a concept for invoices, a concept for line items. Let's build out a simple data model that outlines those things. Does this look good to you? And like, it's like even a non-technical person can look at this and say like, I could read that. Like, I know what I'm looking at here. And also a technical person can think like, I'm seeing a data model come together.
Yes. And anybody that's worked with these tools has felt like, even if you're using V0 for something, you'll get down a certain road and then you'll realize, oh, you know what? There's something foundational that I missed that I need to add. Adding something retroactively on, like when the AI has built from an initial set of assumptions, and then you're adding a whole new dynamic later on, very difficult to do that retroactively. But if you have a plan, if you have it organized, if you have a checklist, a lot of this is a checklist. Like, hey, now we're going to talk about the data model. Like, what are you going to need here? We're going to need users, clients, invoices, line items. What are the relationships between these different entities going to be? Let's map that out right now.
Inputs and outputs, right? Like we can't move on yet to the design until we think through this data model first. So like that's part of it. And then like, you asked about like how this sort of came together in a week. Like the next section on design like didn't exist at first, but then I realized like this is a common downfall of what we've been doing with trying to design with AI, right? Like because my initial thought was like, we have the list of sections like the dashboard and the clients list and the invoices list. So let's just start designing those one by one, right?
Yeah.
But then what happened was like, okay, if we're going to design the dashboard, great. We generate a design for the dashboard. It looks good. We're happy with it. Now let's move on to the clients list. If we just start from scratch there,
Yeah.
like now you have like two separate designs. They're not even connected to one another, and they have like different outer shells. You know, maybe they have different details that are different.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about like piecemeal, like you know, duct taping different
And we've
isolated
all
designs
seen
together.
this. It can be
you
as
know?
simple as like the container div on one screen is different than the container div on the next
Yeah.
screen. And you're like,
So then
what
I
is
was
going
like,
on here?
So then I was like, all right, so like really before I even get into designing each individual screen, I sort of need to design the shell of the application first, like the global elements,
Mm-hmm.
the color scheme, the fonts that I'm going to use, the navigation, where that is, it a top navigation or a side navigation, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I get up to the section designs, the individual pages, like those all need to use the outer shell that we've already designed.
Yeah.
And also when we make buttons and stuff on this, we have to make sure that they use the primary, secondary color that I've already established. Like they can't just redefine that every time.
Yes.
So like that's why I added in that middle phase, which is like, let's design the outer shell, the global elements, and then we move on. Again, it's like inputs and outputs. Like we've established the shell. Now we can move on into the pages, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. This is so great.
Honestly, like I'm just really excited about it as a tool. Cause like, it's like, I have a long list of shiny object products that I want to build.
Yeah.
And like I've still even when I did like Agent OS, like that was one step forward, but I still felt like even with AI, even taking a fully AI approach, I was still slow. Like why am I still slow to build things and get them to a shippable state? It's because all the different parts of our process they just don't work in the new paradigm, you know.
That's
like,
right. And it's to me, it's always been a UI problem. It's been a user experience problem that you've got this big open-ended chat input that can do whatever. It's like, no, I need a process. I need step by step. We need to corral all of this potential and actually efficiently target all of that power in one direction, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's really does require like a rethink from the ground up of our process, you know?
Yeah.
It's been crazy to like, just from a coding standpoint, obviously, like, you know, we can code now with Claude Code, and that's been very different. But like, I think we're at a point now where it's like, how does the design come together is even more important, you know?
So how can people get access to this? How's that going to work?
So it's an interesting, this actually blends into the Jason Fried once model, SaaS model. Cause so my thought right now, I'm curious to hear your feedback on this actually. So my thought is Design OS is going to be the next free open source thing that I release, just like I did with Agent OS.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's going to, hopefully by next week, I'll have a page up on buildermethods.com/designos.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll be on a beach in Costa Rica. We'll see. So it's going to be free open source to download and use like this React app locally and generate what you're just showing on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there could be an opportunity to have a SaaS cloud component to Design OS, an optional thing.
Yeah.
Because I do think that there's going to be a need by some to take like these screens that we're looking at, like to share that with your team or share with stakeholders or share with a client.
Yeah.
Or comment on the designs and get feedback on them. And this is all happening before we get into our actual app's code base. We're just in the design phase here. So I could see like some sort of like optional cloud service where you could like push this Design OS interface up to a shareable URL that you can share with your team and
okay, this is interesting. This is why, man, we're going a little bit late, but let's talk about this because this is the Fizzy thing. So
and like when Jason Fried tweeted that about sorry, like you were going to explain it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Fizzy is 37 Signals' new product. It's a Trello competitor. So if you remember, Trello was free. There's a free version of Trello. You can track 1,000 things free, and after that, it's only $20 a month. But it's also, if you scroll down, one more thing: Fizzy is open source and 100% free to run yourself. So if you don't want to pay for it, you can download it and host it yourself, and that's an option now. So this is an evolution of their once.com idea. So they're basically saying, yeah, that didn't quite work, but now we're evolving on top of that. And now the new model we're trying, I think we should also emphasize, like, when that once.com thing came out, everyone was so excited, like, it's a whole new business thing. We're all excited. Everyone's launching once apps with the once business model. I do think we should wait and see how this plays out, but this idea that you can have a SaaS version and an open source version, that to me feels a little bit more aligned. Ghost has done that for a long time. Lots of folks have done that.
Yeah, and like Jason, and people are gonna hate on this, of course, but I kind of love it, and it does have, like, I think the thing to say about the way that Jason Fried wrote about this is that, like, he did point out, like, look, there are extremely successful examples of this already. This is not something new. We're not reinventing the wheel here. There's WordPress, there's Ghost, there's a bunch of other ones.
I mean, Ghost is doing $9 million in annual recurring revenue from the hosting business. It's free to host yourself.
Yes.
Turns out a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people
just want a hosted version. Yeah. The thing that I love about it, and this is, I had already been thinking about that idea of, like, Design OS is self-hosted, and then there might be a cloud component. I was thinking about that like 2 weeks ago. But what I love about the idea that 37 Signals is leaning into this from a SaaS perspective is that, like, and honestly, I think that this could be the new evolution for how the SaaS business model evolves. Obviously not for every product, not for every SaaS, but I think for a lot of them, like, maybe a lot more going forward will embrace this. And the reason I think that is because the biggest objection that most people have, like, there's always paper cuts, and there's always things, like, there's things that people just don't like about Clarity Flow. They love 80% of it, and there's 20% they're just like, oh, I wish it would do this or that. And they would write in, and I would say, like, yeah, you know what? You're right. That's probably a good idea for you, but probably a bad idea for 80% of our customers. So we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know? So and there's a lot of that stuff, and it happens with every single SaaS. But when you offer a self-hosted version, it's like, if you really care a lot about that 20% that you just really want to work a different way, then just self-host it and customize it to exactly how you need it to be, right?
Yes.
And that used to be a non-starter, but now we have Claude Code, so you could even just do that.
Okay, but here's a question. What are you hoping to get out of the open sourcing Design OS? Like, what's the benefit of open sourcing it?
Oh, I mean, in my case, you know, my goals are obviously different than, like, 37 Signals.
Yeah.
So for me with Design OS, right now, I just think of it as, like, another asset and offering under Builder Methods.
Yeah.
Like, my business is Builder Methods, you know?
Yeah.
So like, even if this cloud service idea with Design OS doesn't turn into a significant business, like, I'm actually more interested in the free open source thing as a thing to offer our industry, and people come into Builder Methods Pro to get support for it, to talk about it, to share it. You know.
Okay. Here's just a few thoughts, and I could be wrong, but when I look at this, and I'm a paid member of Builder Methods, I'm like, I would pay to get access to this right now. Like, this looks like software that's well designed. It looks like a process. Brian has got some sort, and I don't even completely understand it, but I'm just seeing the outputs of whatever the inputs are, and I'm like, I would pay for this right now. And part of me is wondering, if you put this up for sale at $199, Or you can, if you're in builder methods, you get it for $50. I wonder if a lot of people would just pay for it. And I wonder if the benefit you'd get from open sourcing it might not be worth it.
It's an interesting question. I think like I'm honestly on the fence about it, but I'm leaning right now. My assumption is it's going to be free open source, just like Agent OS was, because I kind of feel like Agent OS worked really well for my business.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to run it back and do it again.
Yeah.
And that's not why I created Design OS. I honestly created it to scratch my itch from wanting a better way to design apps.
Yeah.
But as it started to come together, I was like, oh, this could be the next Agent OS. I don't think it's a replacement for Agent OS, by the way. I think it can work hand in hand. Agent OS is more like once you're in your code base. And I honestly, even today, like I don't think that like Agent OS should always be used. It's just an available tool out there, just like this. Like I think Design OS, I'm going to be using it a hell of a lot, but like I don't think that like every product needs to use it or every person needs to use it. Like so that's why I think that these tools work really well. So that, like the other thinking for me on that question of like should this be a paid product or not? The reason why I like free open source for these things is because of how fast our AI tooling is changing every single week. That it's just like talk about platform risk.
Just to support it, you think would be difficult.
No, I just think that I can't predict how the tools are going to work 3 months from now.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what Anthropic is going to come out with next, like it could completely obliterate this whole business. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's hard to try to be in the business of selling tools to help you build with AI, because I think that Claude Code, Cursor, these tools are the tools.
Yeah.
And I think that also like the frameworks like this should help you use those tools better.
Yeah.
The
one thing that's different about this though, because Agent OS, I was like, okay, like you could see that someone could add plan mode, that just seems like a natural thing. With this here, feels like opinionated software. And so I'm just,
I sort of agree with you there. Like this does feel like something that like to me, Design OS seems to be more of a replacement for for me, it actually will be a replacement for like something like Figma.
Yeah.
Like I just won't create mockups anymore,
And I mean, as you were talking, I was like writing up this little diagram because I don't know how it connects, but so I guess the in favor of just open sourcing it, I think there is this like, and maybe builder methods could be like this, like maybe builder methods is the equivalent of this, like I'll just use Design OS on my own. But over here, it's like, nah, I'll hire builder methods. And hire is meaning like I'll pay for builder methods to help me with this. So like there's all sorts of things like this. Like you can host WordPress on your own, but it's like, nah, you know what? I'm just going to hire WP Engine to handle all the security updates and all the upgrades and everything like that. I could update Laravel on my own. Like there's a new version. I could figure that out on my own. Or I could just pay this third-party app, Laravel Shift, to just handle all the updates for me. So yes, I could do it free. I could manage it on my own. I could do it free. Yeah, the one thing about this is that
there's some technical aspects to it too, though. Like, I actually did think about when I started thinking creatively about like what would a SaaS version of this look like a cloud version. My initial thought was like, what if all of Design OS was a SaaS? So you would like log into whatever like I actually got the domain design-os.ai, which is it's a terrible. I hate putting dashes in a domain, but I couldn't find anything better. So
Yeah.
The I was like, maybe what we're looking at there could be like you log into it and you define your product, you
Yeah.
do it all in there. The problem with that is like then I would have to like recreate a Claude code like interface. Of course, you could do that with the API and stuff, but like I think what professional designers and developers want is they want to use Claude code in their editor.
Yeah.
So and it's much more powerful and like you have the full power of having a conversation with AI to dial in your design. Like it works beautifully when you do this in Cursor or in Claude Code.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think also it doesn't match up with at least the way it's laid out right now. It really is something you would use on a new product.
That
and
too.
So for SaaS, it's not. It still feels like maybe like I said, like when you showed that to me, I'm like, I want to do that right now. I want to pay for that. Like I
do think that like where my mind pivoted to on the cloud thing is like, okay, yeah, I think me and other professionals will still want to like download and create the design and run Design OS locally. But if I'm on a team, or if I have clients, if I'm designing for clients, then I am going to want to share this stuff and have conversations about it before we get into the code base. And like so that's where I think the cloud services, it's like I could create these designs locally, but I could push them up to a cloud service. And technically, like if you really want to avoid paying for it, you could just like throw Design OS up on a Netlify, whatever, like host it yourself and then share it with your team. But I think that there could be other benefits to like one click, sync it up with your GitHub account, automatically push your Design OS designs up to this service, share a link with a stakeholder, maybe have some commenting and feedback on it. Like,
I mean, this is, in that case, like that just.
Also like versions, like you could have like, here's version 1 of our product design. And then like, okay, let's log that. And now we'll do a second version and then a third version, have a cloud service to sort of, cycle back through those.
I mean, you think of like an agency like Titan. I mean, what you would be offering here is just like this built-in process for them to use to work with their clients. Like, okay, we've got 10 clients, or Thunk is another agency. So, they're working through this with so many clients. Even if you weren't using AI, this process that you've outlined here feels like it would be so useful if you had an agency and you're building apps for other people. It's like, hey, okay, everybody, we're going to define each of these things together. And it's like, hey, what's the Johnson & Johnson file? How's that doing? Oh, we're at the design stage. We're coming up with the design system and all that. And then eventually we're going to run this playbook and we're going to get to the point where we then build the application. But it gives them such a nice framework for building these projects. Like if you're an agency, this is what you're doing, right? This is the playbook right here.
Yeah. I don't know if you have to go or anything. I just wanted to like one more point.
I've got no sauna today.
Okay, no sauna today. Just to like step back high level for me personally, and this sort of answers your question of like, but like, I am now just for me personally, like I'm of the mindset that like I'm not in the SaaS business anymore. So like the idea of making Design OS a SaaS business, like, yes, I've got this idea for a cloud service, cool, but that's not for me, the play and the business I'm building is Builder Methods and selling Builder Methods Pro. And I'm starting to really, really like that a lot.
Yes.
It's obviously working. It's one of the most successful startup launches that I've had. I want it to keep working, and I see so much more long-term potential for me by leaning into that and sticking with that mindset. And what I mean by specifically, because like I think that there's a lot of people in our industry, in our especially our circles, who just feel like there's a lot of people who say like SaaS is the be all end all. Everybody wants a SaaS. Everyone wants a successful SaaS. I'm here to tell you that for at least me in the year 2025, I've decided that like you can just do things and those things don't have to be SaaS, and it can be great. And that, and so like that's the thing, is that like I'm starting to really appreciate the value of not having to compete with alternate SaaS tools.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I was thinking about, I was talking to my brother about this earlier today. I was like, one of the indicators that I see to myself when I get frustrated or tired of a business model is when people would purchase my product and it makes me angry that they're purchasing it. You know, like that has happened to me in the past. Like when I would sign a big consulting client, it's like, great, they just paid me a lot of money. Shit, now I got to do all this work. Or customers would sign up for a SaaS tool like Clarityflow. They're paying $79, $99. Like, great.
Yeah.
But now they're going to send me all these support emails and complain about this or that, only to then churn and go to a competitor 3 weeks down the road. You know, so like that is frustrating. And then I think about
this phase of your life where you're trying to contract, like you're trying to get rid of, you're enjoying offloading things.
But then I have people buying like almost every hour Builder Methods Pro.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're just here to learn. They're just here to connect with like-minded people who are trying to transform and grow professionally and personally.
Yeah.
Like that's a positive thing. And in all likelihood, people are buying my thing and they're buying 3 other things. And that's totally fine.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not competing for alternatives too.
Yes.
You know? And so like, that's why I'm really excited about like long-term, like if I can release tools like this, which making it free also adds to the funnel and makes it'll have YouTube videos associated with it. It'll have audience, people sharing it, talking about it. Like just today, like people are making YouTube videos about Agent OS. Like people, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
They're making these like 45-minute reviews of Agent OS, something I made. And that's never happened to me before.
Yeah.
You know, but like that kind of funnel, that kind of attention if I can turn that into a business model, which I think I have, like that is a better fit for me. Like I'm starting to finally realize, it took me way too many years to come around to this idea that like maybe I'm not a SaaS guy. I'm more of a creator and a tool maker. Yes. Like I like to make tools, but I don't want to have that be my business, because if I were going all in on the idea of making Design OS a SaaS that I'm only selling, and I have to make my money from that, then I have to say like, I want my customers to use Design OS and not use X, Y, and Z and A, B, and C, because if they do, then they're going to stop using mine. And I just don't like to be in that scenario anymore, you know?
Okay. I agree. I'll say, here's what I'll say on the other side of this. By the way, I think you should still consider, this idea is so compelling. It feels like there's a lot of people that would jump to Builder Methods to get early access. That would be an interesting experiment, like before open sourcing it, or maybe in conjunction with it, to say.
One thing I already did was like that video I gave to you, I shared with Builder Methods Pro members already.
Yes.
So they saw the video walkthrough. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it would be an interesting pitch to say, and maybe it wouldn't generate the kind of movement I'm thinking about, but in my mind, it's like, that would be an interesting thing to test at this stage is, do people want this bad enough that there's a bunch of people that are willing to jump into Builder Methods just to get early access to it? Anyway, something to think about. But
yeah, I did that, like that tweet I gave you today that you showed. like that didn't actually do very well on Twitter or Blue
Yeah.
Sky. But like I also think that like that's because it's like, what am I looking at here? What is this? You know,
It's hard to explain, but I wonder if,
like at some point I'm gonna have a dedicated YouTube video that's like
yeah,
scripted and
I wonder
really
if
shows
that
it.
will
But
be the, and maybe there's still a piece of this that you could hold back and just see if people will jump through a hoop to get it in builder methods. Um, like maybe, I don't know, I don't know, maybe the export stage or something. I don't know.
yeah,
Um,
I think it'll be like, and again, like Agent OS, I think it'll be the kind of thing that just clicks with some people and
yeah.
doesn't with a lot of other people, and that's totally fine. You know.
Yeah. I mean, and back in terms of like you feeling like, this, you like this model, it made me think of Tailwind Insiders, which is, you get access to
I've
a
been meaning
private
to
insiders
just buy that. I feel like I owe Adam
area.
something.
You get access to a Discord. You get, their Cursor Claude rules. You get early documentation for pre-release builds. You get the Raycast extension, and increasingly, this kind of these supporter tiers are becoming a source of revenue for Tailwind. And even at the end of his last podcast, he was like, "Hey, if you want to like actually get into more detail on this, like Insiders is where that's happening." And there's a nice simplicity to that. It also made me think of this great blog post by Nathan Barry where he talks about the consumer surplus and basically leaving some value on the table. So, he talks about like Basecamp, $100 a month. We get way more value from Basecamp than what we pay. But Segment, and I've experienced this too, it provides a ton of value, but it also charges kind of the same amount. So what you're paying is you're kind of getting one for one value.
Yeah.
And just the feeling of signing up for something like Builder Methods, where it's like, holy shit, like I'm paying a little, but I'm getting way more value than I'm paying for. And if part of that package is like, I get Design OS, but I also get like, there's some sort of inside track for Design OS that's going to help me out. I'm just getting way more value, or I'm just supporting Brian because he's given us so much value. Like there is something to that for sure.
And that's essentially been the model with Agent OS. Like I get a lot of questions about it, but the only ones I actually answer are in the Discord for Builder Methods Pro.
Yeah.
And that'll be the same sort of idea with Design OS, I think. But the on the pricing stuff, I was listening to the Rework podcast, and their topic was pricing, and they were talking about they talked about all their different products over the years and their thinking on the pricing, and Jason was talking about Basecamp and their decision to cap it at $250 or $299 a month, right? And not go per user pricing.
Yeah.
It was like, it's an obvious play. Like we know why companies who have large teams or selling to companies with large teams, like you would charge per user, of course, like he was like, of course we could make a lot more money that way. He was like, but that would change our incentives, or the way, I don't know exactly how he said it, but he was saying, what he was saying was like, then we would have to optimize for selling to larger and larger companies.
Yeah.
And we don't identify as a large company. We identify with the smaller businesses.
Yeah.
So that in turn is going to make us prioritize like what makes a good product for the types of companies, the types of people that we actually care about and that we actually identify with personally. That's like, just because it's going to make more dollars and it's going to optimize your revenue does not mean that it's right for you as the founder,
Yeah.
Or the team.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think for me, I've always been like, if I was at a big enterprise company and I was used to buying software on huge enterprise contracts for hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, I enjoyed that process, or I thought it was a fine way of running a business, I'd be like, yeah, let's do that. for me personally, I'm like, I have to charge what I would be willing to charge. Like if I'm in Transistor's case, I am the ideal customer. Like I love to podcast. I have multiple shows. Most of my shows don't make any money. I'm doing it for fun, but I've got some money to spend. This is like a fun thing for me. What would I pay? And it's like, yeah, I would pay $19 a month. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Feels right.
It feels right. And I think that pricing philosophy, there's actually something to that pricing philosophy. Like, this feels good to me.
Yeah. And especially when it's like, even with Builder Methods Pro, like I still feel like it's priced way too low. I think it obviously is. And I plan to raise it like in 2026.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I'm like, man, this is just working so well, and I'm free. I'm free to just make stuff, and like, let's just keep it going. Like that's all I really kind of care about. So
yeah. All right, man. Well, I still think there might be something here. You might be able to get a bunch more Builder Methods signups if you tease out Design OS on YouTube and say at the end your CTA tag could just be, "Hey, folks, and I'm offering like early access to this. If you're in Builder Methods, go sign up for Builder Methods," and then you get access.
I don't know. Oh, I guess I'm just gonna like bury this at the very end of our podcast. I am doing my December workshop is on the topic of I think I called it like AI first design process.
Yes.
So that's
I signed up for this. I was excited about this.
22nd. So that's out there as well, and that'll be about the underlying process behind Design OS, and
just another reason to sign up for Builder Methods Pro is you get.
I mean, dude, like from a business model standpoint, that is what I really like about the mechanics of Builder Methods Pro right now. Is that like, so every month or so, I'm doing these live workshops. I sell the tickets for $50 each.
Yep.
A lot more people buy the membership instead of buy the $50 workshop ticket. So like, and the way that I've set up my site is if you go through my funnel, you'll see you can purchase a ticket for $50. Or you can join Builder Methods Pro and you get in for free and you get all the workshops for free, right?
Yeah.
And so right there, that's like good value proposition. But then also what I do is you can pay if you just choose to spend the $50, then on the next page, it says like, hey,
oh, that's smart.
If you want to just upgrade to Builder Methods Pro, you can do that. And just your $50 purchase will go toward that.
Yes.
So the normal price is like $299 for Builder Methods Pro. You can, now that you've paid $50, you can just get Builder Methods Pro for $249 if you want.
Well, and I mean, you think about it, it's like there's already been 4 workshops, so that's $200. So if you plan on going to those workshops, just sign up and then you get everything. And then you also get access to the Discord and all that.
Yeah, and the video library and all that. I even see people come in and purchase. You can still purchase tickets to the past workshops. Like you can just purchase access to those recordings.
And people are still doing that too.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, go to buildermethods.com/workshops. Join Brian and me, December 22nd.
Yep.
All right, everybody. This was fun. Glad we got to do this today. Thanks to everyone in the chat as well.
Yeah, we'll be off next week, but then back in 2 weeks.
We got Dave Jones. We got Pascal. Pascal's got the inside jokes. Folks, if you're not in the inside track, you're missing out.
That's right. This is
where
the cool kids are hanging out on Thursdays.
Keith, we're all here. And yeah, we'll not see you next week because Brian's on vacation. But we might see you. This might be the last one till the new year. We'll see. Maybe we'll get one more in before 2026.
When's Christmas? Not after that. I don't know. I'm not doing anything anyway, so I'll...
Whether it's 2025 or 2026, we'll see you next time.
That's right. All right, later, folks.
All right.